Hey there everyone, welcome to another music review on Jindo Dog Journey's Music of the Mountains. Today we're going to talk about the new Blue Oyster Cult album, The Symbol Remains. This was released just recently on October 9th, 2020. I got a vinyl copy of it. Here it is. Outstanding artwork. If you get the vinyl copy, it's a gatefold, lyrics here, some pictures and credits on the other side, and here's the back cover. If you get the vinyl copy, you get 2 LPs, and if you order it through New Frontiers Record, which is Blue Oyster Cult's record label now, you have the option of getting limited edition colored vinyls like green. I was tempted to do that, but I decided I'd just get the standard vinyl release. This is superb artwork. It's one of the best pieces of cover art I've seen on an album in quite some time. So who do we got in Blue Oyster Cult nowadays? We got the 2 longtime original members, Donald Roser, aka Buck Dharma, and Eric Bloom. And in addition to them, we have Richie Castellano, who is primarily on guitars, does vocals, and some keyboards. We also have Danny Miranda, who's been with them before in the past. He is on bass, and Jules Rodino, who is on drums. So what do we got here? We got 14 tracks on the album. I will say this has made an immediate impact on me and is something that I have been listening to addictively for the last week and a couple of days now. So let's get into the songs because they are superb. The album kicks off with a great hard rockin' track called That Was Me. Lead vocals, Eric Bloom. The song subject matter seems to espouse delinquent behavior and some antisocial tendencies of the narrator. But the song is brilliant. It rocks very hard. Eric Bloom sounds great on this album. All of the vocalists on this album sound great, which are Eric Bloom, Buck Dharma, and Richie Castellano, who also sings on 3 tracks. Really enjoy the middle breakdown on That Was Me, kind of a funky middle part there, and then it finishes really strong. Next we have Box in My Head, which is Buck Dharma's first lead vocal on the album. Fabulous singing on his part. The song is very catchy. The guitars are not really heavily distorted, but they're not quite clean either. It's kind of a middle dirty overdrive tone to them, which is very interesting. Good song. Next, we have an excellent song, one of the better ones on the album, probably, in my opinion, called Tainted Blood. The song subject matter is about a vampire whose female counterpart, his wife or whatever, drinks tainted blood and dies. And as a result, his bereavement develops into severe clinical depression with suicidal thoughts and desires. So we basically have a suicidal vampire as the subject matter of this song. This is a very well sung song by Richie Castellano and excellent backing choruses by Buck Dharma and Eric Bloom. That's a feature of this album that you didn't hear a lot on a couple of the recent Blue Oyster Cult albums, which is something more akin to some of their past legacy material, which are these big, wide, booming choruses that are so catchy. It just gets into your blood, gets into your DNA, and you can't get them out of your head. And you see a lot of that on the material on this album. So after that, we got what is a contender for my personal favorite song on the album, Nightmare Epiphany. Buck Dharma sings lead vocals on this. An earlier version of this song appeared on Buck Dharma's archive CD, which were a couple of albums that he kind of unceremoniously released around 20 years ago. And this is a very crystal crisp, clear version of the song. Excellent guitar playing on the song. It has almost like a rock reggae feel to it. And if any of you are familiar with the rock reggae band Reggae Cowboys from Toronto, Canada, this song has a lot of similarity to some of their style of music. And I also think that Danny Miranda's bass playing is a real strong anchor in this song as well. After that, we got Edge of the World, Eric Bloom vocal. It's another hard, heavy rocker. Great background choruses again that are very infectious. This song kind of taps into some of the classic subject matter that we associate with Blue Oyster Cult songs about conspiracies, alien abductions, weird things going on in the world. And it's, I think it's a very appropriate song for the times we live in too. Then we get to another very compelling song called The Machine. This is also sung by Richie Castellano, and this song is kind of a tongue-in-cheek lyrical delivery, kind of projecting our love affair with our smartphones, and very appropriate also for contemporary times. I'm really impressed with Richie Castellano's singing on this album, on the tracks he sings on. On this track in particular, The Machine, I also really like the background vocals and how they've mixed all their voices into the chorus of the background vocals, but I think Buck Dharma's is a little bit higher in the mix. The overall result, to me, creates this kind of chilling, icy, cold feel to the song, which fits with what they're trying to invoke, I think, with some of the lyrics. Excellent, excellent song. Track number 7 is a song called Train True, Lenny's song. And this is a Buck Dharma lead vocal. The style of it is unique in that it's kind of a boogie rock, honky-tonk song. It's got a lot of lyrics in it. And in fact, if you were looking back at the lyric part of the record, you see it takes up a lot of space. The lyrics are delivered in a very fast, rapid-fire pace in a large part of the song. And it's just a mouthful of words to deliver. And I think all of that is a little harder for me to get into, not that it's a bad song. And I will say that I think I see kind of a linear connection from this song back to some of their very early work, like their classic Black and White period, which were their first 3 albums. After that, we have The Return of Saint Cecilia. This is the 3rd song sung by Richie Castellano. And before Blue Oyster Cult was called Blue Oyster Cult, around 1969-70, their first band name was, well, there was kind of 2. There was Soft White Underbelly, and there was also the Stock Forest Group. And when they were the Stock Forest Group, they had a song called Saint Cecilia. So here we are all these decades later, and Blue Oyster Cult has a song called The Return of Saint Cecilia. You can find the Stock Forest Group recordings available on CD now, and it's interesting listening to the kind of their more jam band, psychedelic style of music that they were back in those very, very early days. This is kind of a good, kind of heavy rocker as well, and good to see the connection back to something so far back in their history. After that, we got what is one of the heaviest songs they have ever recorded in their entire career in Stand and Fight. This is a true heavy metal song, fabulous sounding song. Eric Bloom sings lead vocals on it, and he actually reminds me in this song of Dave Mustaine of Megadeth. In fact, the overall song has a resemblance to some of Megadeth's kind of music. This is a great song, kind of like about some geopolitical kind of warfare, tensions, and different nations or tribes or whatever you envision coming together to unify, to confront and fight a common enemy. Very heavy song, the heaviest song on the album, and again, one of the heaviest, if not the heaviest song they've ever recorded. Next we have a song called Florida Man, sung by Dharma. Fascinating song. You need to read the lyrics to this song. The song addresses some of the stories of very bizarre behavior among the citizens of Florida. I've heard about this stuff before. There's kind of different theories as to what the causation of it is. I would just leave it at that and encourage you to just dive into the lyrics for yourself and formulate your own impressions of it. But it's very captivating, very compelling subject matter. And then after that, we get to the kind of prog metal epic masterpiece of the album, The Alchemist. And this is a song that probably is going to be a favorite among longtime Blue Oyster Cult fans. It's heavy, it's dark, it's catchy. It has a middle section that is very reminiscent of Iron Maiden or kind of speed metal stylings. It also has this creepy piano part in it as well. So the arrangement is superb, very kind of prog metal stylings, and also a very catchy chorus to it. Then we get to track 12, which is Secret Road, another song that is sung by Dharma. I think this is also another song that was on some of his old archive recordings that I mentioned earlier, along with Nightmare Epiphany. I love this song. This is also a contender for one of my favorites on the album, but there's so many, so it's really hard to choose. But what I like about Secret Road, in addition to the subject matter and the laid-back, thoughtful groove, is some of the lead guitar work on it, particularly the outro solo. It's astral, it's cosmic, it's like it's taking you through the stars on a secret road, through the cosmos, through these galaxies. And I just can't say enough about how good Dharma and Richie Castellano's guitar tones sound on this album. Next is a song called There's a Crime. This is a snarling, venomous hard rocker. Jules Rodino actually gets a writing credit for this. This song kind of reminds me of like old early Guns N' Roses. And I say that in a good way. It's just got, this guitar is snarling, it's mean, the drums are thrashy, there's subject matters dealing with kind of bad stuff. You don't know exactly what's going on, but you kind of get the picture and your mind can fill in the blanks. Great hard rocking song. And then finally we get the last song on the album called Fight. Another Dharma song, lead vocal on the song, and a great tune to wrap up the album. The guitar tones, again, are excellent. Also has some very catchy, kind of cosmic sounding lead guitar work going on in the song. So there you go. There's the 14 songs. Overall, this is a contender for my album of the year. It's been 19 years in the making. 2001 was the last studio album by Blue Oyster Cult. So it's kind of a triumphant accomplishment, something we should celebrate. And beyond that, it is just excellent. The writing, the sound, the production. The production is some of the best I have heard on any record recently. You hear all the instruments perfectly. The levels are great. Overall, this is an excellent album. If I was grading it, I would give it an A to A+. I think that highly of it. I encourage you to go out and get a copy of Blue Oyster Cult's The Symbol Remains. Take care, everyone. Bye.